So welcome to my vlog of the ring. The ring is a fat ass style race, so it's a ultramarathon trail race. It's generously put on by the Virginia Happy Trails Running Club. It's 71 rocky miles in the Virginia mountains, and it was held on August 30th of this year, 2025, but it's held every year. So this is the course. It's as I mentioned, 71 miles, 13,000 feet of climbing and descending. The first water stop is, and it's water only, is at Milford Gap. That's 13 miles into the race. And the water is portaged up by the volunteers. And then the first full aid station is at 25 miles at Camp Roosevelt. My friend Jamie was meeting me during the race at mile 40-ish at Moreland Gap aid station, or I should say mile 41. There are 7 aid stations in total along the course. So some parts of the course that stick in my mind are Waterfall, which is just before the Chrisman Hollow aid station. So that was a super steep climb. You'll hear me talk about it in the video. And then were the climbs up Short Mountain and Kearns Mountain. So these came in the dark, and so it makes them extra long. You kind of lose track of where you are because you don't have all those visual signposts. The only thing you're seeing is just the trail, and it's a bit overgrown, and you're just kind of focused on just doing it, making your way up the mountain, but it takes a long time. The race starts and finishes on Signal Knob, and when you come down into Signal Knob, it is a very rocky, technical downhill section. So it's not easy, psychologically, hey, I'm going downhill, but you're just crawling. So pay no attention to the dog back there. He's rolled over and enjoying life. So how did I enter the ring? Well, I'd scheduled a bunch of 50Ks in a build-up for an 80K that I had registered for called UTMB Julian Alps Trail Run. And that race is very steep, and so I was trying to do a lot of mountain races in preparation for that event. And while I had done all these 50Ks, I hadn't done something close to 50 miles, and I felt like a 50-miler over rugged terrain would be really good prep, and it basically made me a solid for this 80K that I had signed up for. Well, I've been looking for 50 milers. I couldn't find one. The closest thing I found was 100K, so 62 miles. The Twisted Branch Trail Run in upstate New York, which I still might do one day. So I was thinking about registering for that. And then my friend Luke said, well, geez, why don't you just run the ring? And, I had read the write-up about the ring beforehand. It looked daunting, right? He says, oh, just do 50 miles of that course. I'm like, that's genius. Why didn't I think of that? I'll just do 50 and then I'll drop. No problem. And then my mind started working. I'm like, well, do I really want to drop after 50? Why don't I do the whole race? Well, geez, after 50 miles, I can knock out 100K at 62 miles, right? And then it's only 9 more miles, 71 miles. How bad can it be, right? So I had packed 2 drop bags with, as it turns out, way too much food. I was figuring on about 60 grams of carbs per hour. What ended up happening, so I had a combination of nut butters, energy gels, and waffles to get me to that 60 grams. And then I had some backup food in my pack as well, just in case like a drop bag didn't make it, or there was some issue where I was going to have to be out longer without aid on the station, or I should say on the course, than I thought. I also had I was carrying 3 liters of water at the start, so it's 2.2 pounds per liter, so about 6.5 pounds of water I was carrying, and then first aid kit, a headlamp, a whole bunch of other stuff, a warm wool shirt, gloves. The temps were supposed to go down into the 40s for the race, and so I wanted to be prepared for that. As it turned out, it did get quite cold. You'll see in the race video, there are spots where you can see our breath as we are going through the aid station. And I planned all of this out on a spreadsheet in great detail, right? So I am a planner. I'm pretty analytical by nature. However, as you do your best to prepare, right? But then there are always new things and new problems that present themselves. And then you just have to be ready to deal with that when the race hands that stuff to you. One of the things that I think was driven home to me on this race was the gap between doing an event like this and, let's say, doing a 50K or a 60K distance. This is kind of a different beast in many ways. It's just a lot more time spent on your feet. Most of the 50Ks I'd be done with in anywhere from, let's say, 5.5 to 7.5 hours. But this race, I was on my feet for 26.5 hours. So, man, there is a big gulf. And in your mind, there's this linear model of things, 50K, 31 miles, it's got to be twice as hard to go, let's say 100K. Not really. It's not the way it works. Anyway, this was an experience, an adventure. So without further ado, let's get to the race coverage. Should mention, start was a little rapid for me. I wasn't ready when the race started, and was still messing around with my watch and what have you. And then, so didn't film any of that. And I just started filming once everybody was off, a few minutes into that, and once I had gotten myself sorted out. Is somebody else trying to come by? So we're here at the start. Morales running just behind me here. And looks like great weather for the race today. Not sure entirely where we are here, but maybe 4 miles up from Signal Knob. Dimitar there makes his brief cameo. Charlie back there.
I can sign a release if you want.
All right. May do that. May ask for that. I get perpetual rights to your likeness in my release.
And there wasn't anywhere to park, and they're like, hey, we need drivers. Can you take somebody back to the other side? So we start.
I had to stop for a minute back there. Charlie is run on up ahead of me, and basically you're kind of on this thin ridge, crisscrossing back and forth. So you see one get the views down one side, then down the other. There's a lot of leaves on the trees here, so maybe.
Now, half of my high school went to Penn State, so that was like growing up, that was the thing. But
my wife went to Penn State, so we got a house divided like 3 ways.
I ask lots of dumb questions about football, like all the rules and positions of people.
There are a lot of rules to football.
There's a lot of rules and a lot of shit that doesn't make.
So about a little over a mile out from the first water stop, and about 13 miles. And so far, route hasn't been too bad. No complaints. Parts of it runnable. Yeah, some steep stuff, but not too bad. Coming into the first water station.
Hello there. Who are you?
What's your name?
Robert Pollock. Pawlak.
Got it. Thank you.
Yellow Jacket.
Oh yeah.
I had it
Look, a real steep section here. What's that?
after my first go there.
Yeah.
I got stung in the middle of nowhere. Did not know I was allergic.
Okay. Just stop for the view there for a minute. We've been up on this very rocky ridge that to be walked. Eric, who's up ahead of me, and he's telling me how he's allergic to yellow jackets, and he's carrying a couple of EpiPens, and we've been seeing a lot of yellow jackets up here. So, hope we don't get stung. We've been steadily climbing here. This is up along a very narrow ridge, really rocky, a little overgrown in spots, but some gorgeous views. So when I was reading about the race a few weeks ago, they were saying how, yeah, the first 6 or 7 miles flies by, and it does. Right, and then you get up here on the ridge after some climbing, and it's slow going. This section in here is probably the nicest, so can run for a little bit here, but it's been very rocky and slow going. So at the first station, which was water only, they were about half through, and I think only 12 of us had come through so far. Half through their water, so I hope they don't run out. I didn't take very much of it because I didn't need much, but hope the other folks will be okay. So we just ticked over 20 miles on the GPS, kind of off by myself. Got Little Future Islands playing. So I just ran a little bit with my friend Morale. I ran into him at Cowan's Gap, Holy Cowan's Gap, 50K, and that was a hard race. But he and I got a bit turned around in this huge boulder field. So companions of misfortune there for a little bit. But anyway, I feel pretty good. Let me tell you, I had packed some kimbap in my drop bag back there at the aid station, and did that go down well? Oh Lord, very tasty, very easy to digest. So this was a vegetarian kimbap with tofu in it. Anyway, great stuff. So let me see, I think how far am I? About 5 miles to the next aid station. Came out of the Roosevelt aid station a while ago, and it was hard finding a rhythm. You're going from one side of the ridge to another. It's rocky, it's slow, coming into Roosevelt. Then there's a little bit of a runnable section after that, which is kind of what I'm on, but it's muddy in parts. Part of the trail was like fully inundated with water, and I routed myself around that, and I got to a point where I had to shimmy over this downed tree, and I thought I was going to fall into the water at any moment, but surprised myself and didn't fall, so shoes are still dry. All right, I'm just outside of 2/10 of a mile from the second full aid station, and we just had this steep mother climb. Oh, ooh, it was painful. I think it's called Waterfall. I'm not entirely sure. All right, second aid station. Yeah, thank you. Hey guys.
Recording this wonderful experience.
Oh. So we just left Chrisman a little while ago, past the 35-mile mark in the race. It's starting to get dark. That climb up waterfall to Chrisman, holy crap, that was steep. So, one of the guys was telling me, oh, we got a 2,000-foot climb in 0.6 miles. Like, no, it can't be right. I don't know. It was steep. Be curious to see what the vertical was on that. All right. So, got a view. Hey, Ian. Hey. You're on camera, man. Yeah. Sweet.
15-minute mile. I'll pass. Thank you. I think you qualify right now. Do you? I think so.
Yeah. Climbing up turns to Merlin.
Yeah, it's just like a wannabe serious race.
Broke my pole tip. And it's a slow, rocky going here.
Well, that's fine.
So we're doing the climb on Kearns now. That's Ian up ahead of me there in the distance. It has been slow going. Been watching the average speed drop. Just a lot of this is difficult to run. Now this right here is okay. But section up near the top, holy shit. Gonna move very fast on that one. We're starting to lose the light, so footage might look kind of dark.
All right, so just a little interlude here. We lost light just as we ran into Marlin Gap, and this is at mile 40. This is where I was supposed to meet Jamie, who had very generously offered to run the last 31 miles of the race with me. Little did I realize how much I was going to need that help, because it was really easy to go off course in this section of the race, because the course was a bit overgrown. It was dark. Before you know it, you want to keep going straight, and it kind of looks like the trail, but it's not. And in the video segment that you're going to see next, Ian and I had been running together for, I don't know, probably 10, 15 miles at that point. And the light had faded, and now Ian's in front, as I have almost kind of led us wrong a few times already. Oh yeah, and when Ian and I were together earlier, we had missed the turning point to head northbound on the course, and the course goes southbound for quite a ways, and then basically makes this turn. But we missed that turn and went probably a quarter of a mile, and then had to run back. So anyway, we had been together, and you're marching along. It's dark, and you try not to make a wrong turn, and I'm just focused on following Ian, right? And I'm staring at his ass the whole time. So at one point, I do you'll see it on video, make a remark about that, because I wanted to remember that moment in the race.
Here, so I remember this.
Hell yeah!
So I don't forget. Whoa, this is like Christmas up here.
Hello, hello.
Fantastic.
Would anybody like a broken pole?
No, I'm trying to quit. Thank you, though.
Hey, Adam. How's it going?
It's Rob Pollock,
Yes.
Robert, Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. Otherwise, AKA Ricky Bobby.
I'm not on the list. I'm just following this dude around.
Yeah.
bag?
I do have a bag here, yes. Thank you. All right,
Yeah, see?
final aid station. Woo! 8 miles from here, and then just that little climb up Signal Knob, and back down again. Man, look at this. Little pumpkins and everything.
You have a Robert Pollitt. Hello! I've been waiting for this aid station ever since y'all put shit on Facebook.
All right, Jamie,
Yeah.
smile. There's my champion, my, oh, get me through this last bit of this race, my God. Ooh, wave to the trail running community. Oh yeah, just watch that sun come up.
So pretty.
Oh,
I'm finally warm.
is it worth it?
So here's where things got interesting. Well before Signal Knob, I started to have an issue with my left anterior tibialis. So this is the muscle on the front of your shin, and it helps you pick up the toes in your foot. So I was unable to pick up those toes in my left foot, and whenever I would step on a downward sloping surface, I would be in some pain, and I would be unable to brake my body adequately as I was going downhill like that. So that left leg was really not working for me effectively. At one point I fell, and I triggered the alert, the incident alert on my watch, which automatically sends out a text message on my phone. And so that went out to my mom, to Debbie, and to my sister. And so after I dusted myself off, and then, geez, my phone starts making this siren noise, I see this like red banner on my watch saying emergency incident detected. And I'm like, oh my God, my mom especially is gonna have a fit when she sees this message. I gotta get this text message out right away. So I sent that message out right away. Jamie had seen me fall, and she's like, oh God, I think he screwed up his back, because I fell on my back. But luckily, I had so much stuff in my pack that I didn't even feel it. It didn't even mess with my back. But, I got a few scrapes and bruises and what have you. But that last 8 miles, my God, that was a slog. And we were just crawling down Signal Knob. So the last 3 after I fell was probably the worst, because then I was being extra cautious. I didn't want to fall again. And I was feeling the fatigue at that point. I didn't want to do another caffeine gel. I thought it's just going to make me jittery. I can only take so much caffeine. I think I was, it's kind of at my limit as what I wanted to take. However, no complaints from Jamie at all through this section. And now you'll see us heading into the finish line.
Yeah, so coming down Signal Knob, limping down Signal Knob, right, Jamie?
You're doing awesome.
Yeah, left leg's not working so well, but hopefully work well enough to get us over the finish line.
Heck yeah.
Get me over the finish line.
Yoo-hoo!
Heading into the finish line. Thank God. This was a long one. Oh.
You can't film while you're walking.
Yeah, oh, yes, I can. All right. Done. Lord. Thank you.
So after limping over the finish line, I want to say thank you to a few people for First of all, is to my wife Debbie, who tolerates all the time I spend running, all the time I spend talking about running, all the money I spend buying running gear, and the constant stream of running shoes that are getting delivered to the house, me watching running videos, running race videos on the internet. She drove me down to the race and drove my partially broken body back home. She was waiting on call just in case I needed to be pulled out of the race at one of the aid stations and needed to be taken out of there. Second person I want to acknowledge is my friend Jamie, whom I'm going to nominate for sainthood. She stuck with me for those 31 miles, dark miles. I surely would have taken a wrong turn, more than one, if she wasn't there. So she was skipping into aid stations upbeat, was fully prepared. Like those poles, I couldn't believe it. Gave me her spare poles that she had been carrying at Moreland Station. And then what she didn't tell me was a few miles out of Moreland, she broke the tip off of hers and then, never said a word about it for the rest of the race. So she rocks, especially for all the patience that she had shown to stick with me in the last part of that race. Maybe what I find most difficult to talk about without getting emotional is the aid stations. So you'd roll into the aid stations, especially the ones at night. They'd be all decorated. It would just look really cool, and the volunteers would come up to you and they'd say, "Hey, sit down. What do you need? You need water, Gatorade, flatbread, hot wonton soup with ginger broth." So Chef Jeff really appreciated that wonton soup. Slider, ribs, avocado balls. There's all this stuff, and they just sit you down and get whatever you want, take care of you, look after you, and then you're on your way. And at the time, you're focused on, just doing it. At least I was, and it's afterwards that I realized what these not just guys, but what these volunteers did for me. So big thank you for all you guys. So what did I learn? Going into the race, I was really worried about my vision, and I didn't think I could keep my contact lenses in for 24 plus hours, because I felt like, I could very well be out there 24 or more hours. Turned out to be a total non-issue. I thought I was going to have to lie down and take a nap at some point. So in one of my drop bags, I had it's basically like a sleeping blanket I could roll myself up into. I had Debbie bring a cot in the car just in case she needed to meet me someplace, and then I could lie down on the cot. But didn't need any of that. And I did some caffeinated gels at 1 a.m., 4 a.m., and 7 a.m. approximately. And that got me through. Now I know from watching myself in the video and from the way I was feeling that the fatigue was really starting to set in at 27 hours. I think going 36 hours without sleep, that might be the absolute limit. I don't know that I could do that 36 hours nonstop. And then the other thing I learned was I had way too much food with me, right? Could have carried a lot less. I really didn't feel like eating as much of this sweet stuff. I'm normally not a big fan of it anyway, and the real food was really what I needed for this race.